We're going to be covering an intro to Photoshop here. Okay, so for this little practice, we are going to be on the teaching website, Mr. Ferry's website here, right? So Photoshop practice in the Photoshop section, getting started, okay? So if we scroll down here, we're right clicking on this star image, copying it, okay? Now when we copy this, it's going to our clipboard, okay? So it's copied, it's waiting for us. We're gonna go into Photoshop, hit Command N or File, New. On a PC, it'll be Control N, right? If ever I say Command, I'm talking about Control on a PC, or it might also be the Windows key, okay? So follow along with me saying Command and figure it out for your keyboard. So I'm gonna go Command N for a new document. Now, when I make this document, the clipboard, right, has already picked a size. So it's gonna be the exact size of that starry image, okay? So for now, we're gonna call this, because this is what we're gonna be handing in, right? First name, last name. So I'm gonna go Mr. _ Ferry _ practice. And the size is right. And here we go. We'll hit create. Now I'm gonna hit paste, okay? So that would be file, edit, paste, or Command V. There we go, we got our starry layer. Now in the right here, in the layers panel, right, we see this layers panel. You might find it down low, somewhere over here. It's sitting in this, okay? Layers. You could actually move this around if you wanted to, make it float around. You can add these anywhere you want, make it bigger or smaller, okay? It's up to you. So we're gonna call this layer, because this is important, stars. We always name our layers, okay? Stars. Now I'm going to go back to the website, scroll down. We're going to take this other image, okay? So we're going to right click on it, copy. It's copied to the clipboard, back to our Photoshop document, okay? Mr. Ferry practice, it's named. Paste it, Command V, okay? Now it doesn't totally fit in here, right? So we're going to have to do something called a free transform to make this bigger, okay? But first, remember, layers need to be named. So layer 1 now is going to be called building. You can call it whatever you want as long as it makes sense. Building. Now if I select this move tool over here, right, this is what makes stuff move around. So it will bring a bounding box around this. It doesn't always do that. So if you need to find it, and you are on some other tool over here, you know, like your rectangular selection marquee tool here, or your lasso tool, you can hit Command T. Okay, so if you're on the layer and you hit Command T, it'll bring up that bounding box, okay? And now when we do this, if you go scroll on the edge, it's gonna make it and make it bigger and smaller. If you kind of hover over this, you can turn it. You can hold Shift to get it back to a perfect spot. So those are all things that can work. But for us, we're just gonna make it bigger, okay? So let's see. Gonna make it bigger like that. Go back and drag it down. Kind of make it feel good. Okay, that's good. Perfect. Okay, so now we have two layers. We got a building layer and a stars layer. So the stars layer is behind. So now what we want to do is we want to take this building layer and we're going to do a little blend. So above here, you see this normal part? Well, if we drop that down, now we can make that building layer here kind of transparent or let different light through or do a bunch of cool different things, okay? So if we did dissolve, didn't do anything. Darken, a little bit's happening. Multiply, a little bit more. Color burn. None of these ones are really working for this, and it just depends on the images, right? So lighter, you kind of see a bit of the stars coming through. Screen, some more comes through. Color dodge, now we're seeing more of that blue come through. This one's pretty cool. I'm gonna pick this one. So color dodge, there we go. So now we've made an interesting blend, right? And we're just kind of being a little artistic, doing some things. So for this example, I think this one works, color dodge. And now, so we have our thing saved, right? Or named, we need to save it. So if we hit Command S or File, Save, we're gonna save it, okay? Now this is important. I've called it Mr. Ferry Practice, okay? If you didn't name it for some reason, here's another chance to do it. And you want to go down and not save it to your computer. I could save it anywhere on my computer, but we want to save it to the cloud because you have an Adobe Cloud account where you can save all your Adobe stuff. and it's always going to be there on the cloud. So you can find it anywhere you go. It doesn't matter what computer you're on, okay? So save to cloud documents down here. You're going to make a new folder, call it Photoshop. Okay, so I've already done that. I have a Photoshop file, so I'm not going to create it, but I have a Photoshop one right here. So now I can save it. Mr. Fairy Practice, okay? Now we have our working file here in Photoshop. We can come back to it, see what's called PSD-C. So now it's a cloud file, okay? It's the same thing as a PSD file, but this one's saved on the cloud. But now if someone else has Photoshop and they want to work on this, they can come in and do it. You can open this up, make some more adjustments. Like let's say I wanted to, if I move this layer, let's see if I get the move tool. Another little shortcut is you hit V and that'll bring you to this. So if I'm on a different tool, V brings me to the move tool. You can move this around. And like, let's say I just wanted to like crop this so it's always going to be the same size, okay? Here's a quick tool. So if we go down and take this selection tool right here, the marquee selection tool, and start dragging it from the top all the way down to the bottom. Now we've made these marching ants around the whole document. So if I go ahead and go up to image, you can find crop down there. If we do this now, there won't be any other piece of the layer off the document. So if we hit crop now watch what happens if I go back in. So I'm going to deselect this, Command D, grab this layer, hit V to get to the move tool, or click over in the move tool. If I move this layer around, it's the exact size of the document, okay? So that's something, just a little extra to know there, okay guys? But for this, the purpose, we've made a blend layer, we've learned how to save, okay? We've learned how to save the working file, the PSD. Now we need to export it, okay? So if you go to File, Export, there's a bunch of different options, right? But if we go Export As, we can now save a display file, right? Something you might use on a website, right? Something that has a smaller size. And this is just a flat image. There's no layers, there's no Photoshop information on this. You could open this up in any viewer, anywhere. You could open up, as an attachment in an email, and anyone who has a computer could open this up, okay? So this is to have a display file, something used on a website. You can change the size, make it smaller. We'll put it high, and then you can look over here. There we go. It went from low would be 329 kilobytes, very low, high 2.3 megabytes. So we'll do high so it looks okay. Now we're just going to put this in our downloads folder so we know where it is, just for practice, and we'll hand this in to the classroom for today. Okay, and that's it.